I'm falling asleep still. I'm beginning to recall even more events about Roderick. And I couldn't talk about this while I was still in the South. And it wasn't safe. But now I can talk about it and not leave Roderick hanging. Roderick told me once, Lisa, I don't like Buffy. Well, Roderick, I can't carry this to my grave. I don't like Buffy either. And he was like, it's the gay thing, he said, but it's not just that. I was like, Roderick, that is pretty strong but you're entitled to your opinion. I said, you don't like her because of the gay thing. I said, that's not my reason. I said, it's everything else about her. He said, me too. And maybe indirectly admitted some things about her that I didn't like, but I know I recall not telling him the exact same thing he said. I might have said it in a different way, but I wanted to say it just the way he said it. And very few people my mother invited into her home when I was there, but he was in there gossiping like a woman. And I got tired of hearing the two of them bicker. You know, they would go back and forth, and just those two never got along. Those two never liked each other, and I got sick of it. And I said, well, you know what, Buffy, Roderick doesn't like you. It just, sometimes things slip out. It slipped out. And she was like, he said that? I said, yeah, he said it's the gay thing. I didn't tell her nothing else, but I got so tired of her that, I told her that one time when, I forget it, we was in our 20s. It might have been in our 20s. And I got tired of her. They would bash each other behind each other's back, and I got tired of her bashing him behind his back. And I said, that's when I just said, you know what? I had enough. I said, well, he don't like you either, because she was always bullying him, and this is why he took it out on me. I wasn't defending him. I just got tired of hearing them bicker. They would always talk behind each other's back. And, I'm beginning to recall all these memories about Roderick, and I did not like him in our home, but my mom. And it was one of those things where I said she roped me into visiting him. Used me to lure him. I didn't know it at the time. If I'd known that, I wouldn't have done it. Or I would have done it to survive her. So we'll say things went according to plan. So yeah, those two did not like each other. Is there anything else I know about Roderick? Yeah, we used to go to the Navy base and the pool and the beach together. I'm drawing a blank. Other than she might have been putting Edna or my mother might have been putting sedatives in our food. We used to go to the beach, and not just the Navy base for they called it kids fun. I did not enjoy that. It was hot outside and muggy, and it was uncomfortable, and we didn't have enough food to eat. Edna would pack these little raggedy sandwiches for us, and Sprite. We'd have to split a Sprite between us, and they make us go run around and burn off the energy. And we'd be so thirsty, and they didn't never have enough water. I didn't recall it until now. So I tried my best not to do too much running. I don't know about the others. And then she'd take us to the little dinky Taco Bell, which is why, for the longest time in my old life, a lifetime ago, I used to, I don't know the last time I ate at a Taco Bell, but I used to identify my worth for a taco shell. Because that's how, and looking back on it, that probably was the intention. That was the intention. To identify my self-worth and the other kids. Like, this is all y'all. It's not like they took us to Denny's or someplace nice, This is your worth, like Taco Bell. So that's what I grew into thinking. I used to think that way. And the beach, yeah, we go to the Biloxi beach, and we pile into this raggedy ass truck. Edna had a truck. Sometimes we pile into her Monte Carlo. She had a couple of junk cars and no AC in the cars, and they used us kids to lure people for God knows what. I didn't know it at the time. And you see people with a bunch of kids, you automatically trust them, women with children, and that was always the thing. Is I fell asleep on the way. I always fell asleep on the way back, and I thought it was kids burning off energy, but I'm pretty sure I was roofied. They was putting something in our drinks and our food, because I was the only one that was just like, I remember doing my head like this and just being, I'm like, that's my, now I know, you know, everything. So it's like how Benadryl and all that shit works. I'm like, everybody else is awake and I'm asleep. So yeah, I done put something. I must have been a problematic one. So they put something in my drink and my food because I always fell asleep on the way back, and there are blanks to the trip I can't remember. And they always put me in the host seat, falling asleep in the host seat on somebody's shoulder. And I wonder Roderick crazy and think I got a crush on him. I fell asleep on somebody's shoulder either, and they probably was molesting me while sleeping. Either one time Renee warned me. She said, Lisa, Sean, if they sleep over, Sean be touching you while you be asleep. He be rubbing on you and stuff. So I fell asleep and out cold, like my head on either Ralph's shoulder or Renee's shoulder, or Renee's the one I didn't mind, and she the one that took care of me like a mom type figure, dad type figure. But the other two I mind, and that's the one I told you that if it came down to it as kids, they would have never took my word that, you know, me and her was dating, and dating my cousin, and I would never. Because I was a child, they ain't gonna take your, even though you would say consensual, I would say it was consensual with Renee. They would have said, you a child, shut up. That sums that up. But I would never report her. So, but the other two, I didn't want it. So I was either on Ralph's shoulder, I was on Roderick's shoulder, or Raymond. I was on three of them, somebody's shoulder sleep all the way home. Then sometimes they would lay a blanket down in the bed of the truck and fall asleep on that. They could have been asleep. To be quite honest with you, if I'm asleep, how I'm gonna know they sleep? I don't know. So they might have drugged all of us, and it was very horrific. And the ride seemed like it always took forever to get home, and I thought that was normal. So looking back on it, I was taken, and I don't know who those people were, but it's easy to falsify paperwork in the 80s. In the 80s, you don't need a whole lot to go on. Now it's more thorough. It's all paperwork. But in the 80s, you could forge somebody's signature and nobody know the damn difference. So, y'all, that memory is safe to say. I didn't know what happened when I was sleeping, but I could just remember waking up in between car ride, looking around. It had to have been an act of God that I was able to just at least identify that I was still alive, and then I fall back asleep. I'm starting to recall these memories because I'm seeing kids. I'm not going to say where at because I don't want to put myself in danger and ratting on their parents. And I see it happening in public, different places where kids have that same look. Like it's not a REM sleep when you're in that deep sleep. I'm like, that's something else going on there. You've been drugged. You are out, almost unconscious. You're unconscious. So and I don't want your parents coming for me. Because women, it's not just children who are in danger, women too.